Okay.
Hi, today I'm talking to Rebecca, and Rebecca is joining me from all the way from the States, and I'm in New Zealand, and I want to talk to her about her sleep and how she did this Sleep Well personalized program. But I'll introduce Rebecca first. Say hi, and maybe you can tell us who is in your family or where you come from.
Okay. As she said, my name's Rebecca. I live in Indiana. I have a daughter and a son. My daughter is almost 18 and my son is almost 15 next month, is both of their birthdays, 2 weeks apart. Yeah, that's just a little bit about myself.
Yeah, cool. Your best age, teenager, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love rolling the
It
eyes.
comes with its own little, trials,
Yep.
but it's good.
Uh, that's cool. Can you tell us a little bit about what was your sleep like when you started working with me?
When I started working with you, I had a situation happen in my life that I didn't realize what was taking place, but it triggered a traumatic response in my body that I didn't really understand what was happening. So I was only sleeping like 3 or 4 nights a week, and that was maybe 5 hours when I did sleep. I was experiencing a significant amount of sleep anxiety, insomnophobia, and I didn't understand what was happening. So as I would have the insomnophobia happening and the panicking, and I'm laying in bed and I'm having a panic attack, I would actually feed into it. And I didn't know how to disconnect feeding into it. So I would go into these days where I would be up for days in this anxious state, just sweaty and not able to literally function. I had to put aside a lot of my responsibilities. I even lost my job. Or actually, I chose to step out. I'm in a situation where I can do that right now, but it affected my life dramatically.
Yes, I do remember when I started working with you and started getting your messages, and I thought, "Ooh, these girls, we need a lot of help here. We need a
I
lot of
was
work to do
panicking,
that." It
yes.
was a lot of panic, and it's understandable. As I say, when you don't sleep one night after another, you start so panicking that how can you sleep? How can you get your sleep back? What's going on? And that feeds more into your insomnia and becomes even worse. And that's kind of when I first started working with you, I knew it have to overcome some big obstacles and work on your sleep anxiety in a big way.
Definitely.
And how did you find the program, the whole process, the course, the plan, the like support you got from me? How was it for you?
Well, I was looking up support groups online, and for some reason I couldn't find any in my area. So I was just going through, and I think it may have been through Facebook. I saw your group, and I just clicked on it, and then I saw some of your things where you were just kind of talking about things that I could relate to. I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. And it felt really good to find someone that understood what I was going through, because everybody around me, they were telling me just go lay down and go to sleep. They didn't understand, and I was so frustrated. But when I found your group, you were able to relate to me and kind of help me with that. And so I just, yeah, I joined your group, and then you and I started working together, and slowly but surely.
Yeah, I do remember you said that kind of you found that when you joined the group, like if I was talking to you, that kind of resonated with you, what you were going through, and that kind of, I understand one of the big reasons for people, it's stress, anxiety that keeps them awake. And I know some therapists that actually don't take clients because of sleep anxiety, but I thought, well, somebody needs to help these people and it's
Yeah,
doable. I know that you can get those
it
results.
is.
You can sleep well.
Yes.
You can learn to tame your mind. And that's what I thought, this is a gap here and I know how to do it. And then with but also, how did you find the course and the program, our coaching sessions?
Yeah, it just showed up on my groups on Facebook because I typed in that I was looking for groups for insomnia.
Yep.
And a bunch of different
Yep.
things popped up, and yours particularly stood out to me because I could relate
Yep, that's
to some
cool.
of the things you were saying.
But how did you find to follow the course that you, once you started working with me, when we started the program, because we had to go through, have orientation session, when we talked about your sleep issues, when we talked about what things we need to address, and also you started watching my videos, and then we were communicating sometimes on a daily basis. And so then, so how did you find the whole process? Was it easy to follow? Was it you could understand, apply? How was it for you?
I would say it was everything. I was able to understand what you were telling me to do, and at first, I was particularly really anxious, so I really had to be patient with myself in doing some of these things. But as I followed them through, I recognized that they did help. And one of the biggest things from your course that I think really broke the cycle was my thinking. I had to change the way I was thinking. The way I was thinking was feeding into what was happening to me. And so I feel like when I changed that through, our messaging back and forth, and then I would go back to your course and watch it over and just pick up on things and just even having hope that you've been where I've been and you've overcame it. I was able, to apply those things and make progress.
Yeah, I remember kind of slowly through your messages, I started realize that you started making the connection
Yeah.
between your sleep, your thinking, also between your sleep habits, and everything kind of started slowly falling into place. So I thought, yes, and I was so excited when it's just things started happening for you. And it's like when you turn that big corner, I was like, as I say, I do my best, you do your work, and then we wait and see that your brain responds as well.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
and that is, so in the beginning I was just stuck in this thought pattern I was in, but I had applied the reframing for a few weeks before, literally the light bulb went off, as you say. Like I remember messaging you and saying, just being in a calmful, more peaceful tone. And then that was when everything started to change. And I was like, hey, I slept 5 hours. Oh, I slept 8 hours. And then I caught some of my sleep up, and I managed to sleep like 12 hours. And I was like, that made me not so fearful that I couldn't sleep, because I was sleeping. And the more I got away from the not sleeping and started sleeping, it's like I was not feeding into that fear anymore. And I was able to go to sleep at night. And now I average 7 or 8 hours
which is
a night.
amazing, and kind of for you actually now knowing that you could do it, that it's you don't have to feel anxious and be in a state of hyperarousal when your whole body, your mind is in fight and flight modes, but you can calm it down, and you know what to do at daytime actually to make it work.
Yes. And I did follow through with those things that you taught through the daytime. My big thing right now is, something happens in the daytime, I'll journal about it, and I'll try to deal with it. Sometimes I may struggle a little bit falling asleep, or even I might have a remnants of the sleep anxiety pop up, but I know what to do. And so instead of what I used to do was I would fall asleep, and then I might wake up and start having sleep anxiety, and I would feed into it. And so then I would be up I might go on for days like that. But now I feel the panic and I tell myself what is actually happening. And this is just your brain responding. And it doesn't mean that you're going to be up for days. You can actually, you know what to do,
Yep.
and it'll calm me down and I might take a little while for me to go to sleep, but I'll sleep that night. I haven't had a night of no sleep in probably, in a long time.
Yeah, which is
Mhm.
incredible. Remember, thinking, I always say, look back and see where you were with your sleep before and where you're now, and just having
Mhm.
you enjoying your life now and having energy for your kids and just kind of looking forward to your day because
Yeah.
you could do it, and it's just so important for you. So what would you say to someone who is actually thinking about doing the program and thinking, oh, would it work for me? And I know for other people it could be look slightly different, but especially if someone who struggles with sleep anxiety,
Mhm.
what would you say
Yeah.
to them if they're contemplating and maybe it's got think, would it work for me? Is it worth investing my time, my energy and money into something like that?
Yeah, I belong to some different insomnia groups, and so I know that I've heard of the different stories and some of the different fears people have, but and I, also have seen those stories where people are asking what kind of medication they can take or this or that, and I truly believe that this is the answer. It's in getting into your own brain and just, changing the way you're thinking and then dealing with things throughout the day and the whole basically everything that you teach, in my opinion, is the answer. It's what changed things. I'm not on any medication. I've tried to do this without medication, um, for my own reasons, and this has worked for me. So anyone is considering doing it, I'm just an example that it does work.
Yeah.
The
And
program
as you
does work.
said, this is the answer because dealing with all the things that are actually causing your insomnia, this is the way to move forward because there's nothing else like talking to someone this morning, there's just a herbal tea or melatonin. I mean, this is just something on the surface that it just doesn't deal with the issue of your insomnia. It just
Yeah.
doesn't deal with the deep your thoughts that are actually
Hmm.
sometimes the biggest obstacle for your sleep. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're such a
I've
living
tried.
example of that.
Thank you. I've tried the melatonin and the different things like that. And what I learned through learning what's even happening in my brain is that my body is pushing out adrenaline. And so, it's those particular medications are probably they're not the answer. So the answer is, in our thinking, really, and then other areas in our life we have to address.
Yep. Yeah. No, thank you so much for taking your time and also sharing. I loved working with you and kind of I was from the start a bit worried myself
Yeah,
how we get through.
I was too.
I was. I said, I hope we will turn the corner here. And then when
Right.
I started seeing your messages with some progress with your sleep and how you started, I thought, yes, you're making connection now and you're working on it and we got
Hmm.
there. And I'm just so, so pleased about it. So yeah. I'll see you in the group and thank you so much for doing this.
All right. You're welcome.